0. As soon as Yin Cang finished his words, he rushed towards Jiangzi. Black qi was wrapped around his hands, like the qi of death that could corrode the heaven and earth. It carried a force that could cause one's expression to change as it rushed towards the latter. Jiangzi was called the young tiger of the Zhang family. Naturally, he was proud and arrogant. Now that he was called a mixed fish by Yin Cang, the fury in his heart could be imagined. Staring at Yin Cang, who was rushing towards him, Jiangzi's eyes gradually became incomparably cold. Kai! Yin Cang suddenly attacked. The air that his palm passed through surged violently, as if it was eroded by the yin qi. Jiangzi furiously shouted. Both of his hands started to swing at a dazzling speed. Boundless origin monarch qis appeared crazily along with the movement of his 10 fingers. In an instant, the air around Jiangzi stopped. In a split second, a faint mark was formed in the air. Chaotic Dragon Seal. As the Zhang family's secret arts, it was an offensive technique. Although it was not Jiangzi's trump card, when he used it with his strength, it still shook the surroundings. The airflow in the world trembled as if it was attracted by it. It gathered into the faint mark in front of Jiangzi. The moment the mark appeared, Jiangzi's eyes became serious. He looked at Yin Cang, who was right in front of him, and a ferocious smile appeared on his face. He moved his 10 fingers slightly, and the palm-sized mark silently rushed out, causing the surrounding air to fluctuate. Just as the battle between Yin Cang and Jiangzi was about to erupt, Xiao also let out a loud shout. His toes pressed on the ground, and a huge rock spread its wings and flew towards Xiao. A shadow flashed in his hand, and a silver long staff about the height of a person appeared in his hand. It was then smashed towards Xiao. Xiao still remembered Xiaoyan's strength clearly. Last night in Medicine Pavilion, this fellow's soul power was actually able to fight against the senior Zhao Qingshan. When he thought of this, he didn't dare show any neglect. He immediately unleashed the spirit weapon monarch skill. Pure heaven break. Zhao Shuo's handsome face was filled with ferociousness. A cold light flickered in his eyes. As the origin monarch qi in his body crazily surged, his hands that were holding the spirit weapon became crystal clear. The silver glow on the long stick rolled and roared at Xiao. Xiaoyan's heart shivered. This fellow's strength had increased significantly compared to before. With such a powerful attack, even an emperor would not be able to escape death. Hey, pure heaven staff technique. Zhao Shuo, this kid, has really mastered some of the essence. On the stage, Zhao Qingshan nodded his head in satisfaction when he saw Zhao Shuo try out the spirit weapon monarch skill. The pure heaven staff technique was created by the Zhao family's old ancestor. In the past few hundred years, there were very few people who had mastered it completely. He didn't expect that Zhao Shuo would give him a pleasant surprise. This pure heaven staff technique was indeed very impressive. The power of the long silver staff made Xiaoyan's heart skip a beat. Without hesitation, he raised his right hand as a palm and faced the long staff that was swung down. Halfway through, the flame in his hand swept across and a huge golden ruler appeared in his hand. Buzz! The long silver staff and the huge golden ruler collided violently, producing a deafening metallic sound. The huge force caused the air around him to explode. Xiaoyan's right hand that was holding the blue flame ruler trembled, almost unable to hold it. What a powerful force! Xiaoyan exclaimed in his heart. His expression turned serious. The power of this strike was much greater than the punch that Yin Cang had used to attack him. If it wasn't for the blue flame ruler, this strike would have been enough to injure him. Zhao Shuo, who was also pushed back by the terrifying force, looked at Xiaoyan, who was almost fine, with a pale face. His heart felt as if it had fallen into an ice cave. The pure heaven staff technique was a genuine high-grade monarch spell, but it didn't have any effect on the latter. Boom! While Xiaoyan and Zhao Shuo were fighting, Jiangzi's chaotic dragon seal whistled out and entangled with Yin Cang's palms. The chaotic dragon seal glowed with a mysterious light. As the light rotated, it crazily devoured the yin qi in Yin Cang's hands. At the same time, the chaotic dragon seal began to emit a dazzling light. The qi exuded from the light made Yin Cang frown. This chaotic dragon seal is the secret skill of my Zhang family. Even a peak of monarch king warrior will be seriously injured if he is hit by it. Let me see how you are going to dodge it. Yin Cang laughed coldly upon hearing this. He glanced at Jiangzi in a mocking manner. His hands, which were wrapped by the mysterious light of the chaotic dragon seal, suddenly shook. Endless origin monarch cheese surged into his hands. Boundless dark soul aura spread out from his body and instantly devoured the chaotic dragon seal in his hands. What an insignificant skill. I'll let you have a good look at my profound yin sect's great yin spirit arts. Yin Cang let out a ferocious laugh. Both of his eyes turned incomparably black in an instant. Dense spikes suddenly appeared on the surface of his body. The spikes pierced through his gray robe, and the tip of the spikes had already condensed into a dark black gaseous substance. Countless dark black gaseous substance had gathered together in the blink of an eye, forming a cluster of indescribable black light. Yin Spectre! With a furious roar, the black light trembled slightly and rushed towards Jiangzi. Wherever the black light passed, the space would tremble. Sensing the sharp aura contained within the black light, Jiangzi's expression changed. After a trace of shock flashed across his eyes, his 10 fingers moved crazily. He controlled the chaotic dragon seal to block the black light. Wah! The two attacks did not have the expected sound of collision. The black and white light entangled with each other in midair. After a moment of stalemate, the mixed dragon seal was completely swallowed by the black light and completely dissipated. Oh! The instant the chaotic dragon seal dissipated, Jiangzi's face immediately turned pale. He resisted the urge to spurt out a mouthful of blood. Jiangzi looked at Yin Cang with a gaze filled with shock. Both of them had the strength of an emperor. How could the gap between them be so huge? They were on completely different levels. The secret skill that he was so proud of had no resistance against the great yin spirit arts of the profound yin sect. After the black light devoured the chaotic dragon seal, the light on his body dimmed rapidly. Yin Cang looked at it coldly and stretched out his hand to grasp the void. The fist-sized black light quietly emerged and dispersed. At the center of Yin Cang's palm, a fingernail-sized mark appeared. The Zhang family's secret arts is indeed powerful. It actually consumed so much of the yin seal. As this thought flashed across his mind, Yin Cang looked at Jiangzi coldly. Although the latter had strengthened his spirit, it could clearly be seen that his fighting spirit was somewhat shaken. All right, Jiangzi, you can come down now. Just as Yin Cang was about to attack, a vigorous voice suddenly sounded from the stands. Everyone looked over and saw the dignified face of the Zhang family's patriarch. The latter was looking at Jiangzi with a calm expression. There was a trace of unconcealed disappointment on his firm face. Despite that, he could still tell that Jiangzi's state of mind was not good. If this continued, he would only be able to hold on. Seeing his father nod his head, Jiangzi's face turned even paler. The previous arrogance had long disappeared. He looked at Yin Cang with a complicated expression, and Xiao Yan, who had almost finished torturing Zhao Shuo not far away. He sighed helplessly. As a genius, today's blow had been too heavy. When Jiangzi left, the crowd on the grandstand had mixed feelings. The name of the young tiger of the Zhang family had resounded across half of the star-severing mountain range, and the strength of the young tiger was obvious to all. No one had expected that he would be defeated by Yin Cang in just one round. Just how strong was this Yin Cang? In the distance, Jade Fairy's beautiful eyes were looking at Jiangzi, who was walking down the stage step by step. Her eyes were moving, and no one knew what she was thinking. Even the young tiger of the Zhang family was defeated. Mr. Xiao is in danger now. Yun Er's pretty face was pale as she mumbled to herself. The strength of the Zhang family is also not bad. At least Yin Cang was forced to use the great yin spirit arts. Jade Fairy looked at Xiao Yan and said faintly, "That great yin spirit arts is not simple. It is a saint-level skill, the yin and yang scroll, and the yin scroll. A part of it is naturally powerful and scary. The fact that Yin Cang can use it is enough to prove the abilities of the young tiger of the Zhang family." A saint-level cultivation technique? Yun Er's red lips were wide open when she heard this. Her pretty face was filled with disbelief. Jade Fairy did not answer her. At this moment, the former had already fixed her eyes on Xiao Yan. After looking at him for a while, a smile quietly formed a subtle arc at the corner of her mouth. Without revealing that mysterious secret technique, just the weapon in her hand and her own strength was enough to completely torture Zhao Shuo, who had used the secret arts of the family. This strength was enough to fight Yin Cang. Tu Dong! After being punched in the chest by Xiao Yan, Zhao Shuo suddenly felt the blood in his body churn. His chest tightened and he started coughing violently. Xiao Yan rubbed the wrist of the hand that was holding the blue flame ruler. There was a dull pain there. Zhao Shuo's staff technique was fierce and majestic. Just now, he was careless and was hit by a little bit of air force. A sharp pain immediately came from his wrist. Pa! He flipped over and jumped up from the ground. The pain from his chest made Zhao Shuo suck in a cold breath. He took a deep breath and his legs trembled. He almost fell to the ground. Luckily, he had the silver tiger stick in his hand to support him, so he did not make a fool of himself. Both of his eyes were red as he stared at Xiao Yan. Zhao Shuo's entire body was trembling. Compared to the pain in his body, the blow in his heart was even more bone-piercing. He was also a genius amongst the young generation in Myriad Spirit City. Although he wasn't the best, no one in his generation could defeat him so easily. And now, after a few punches from Xiao Yan, it almost shattered his confidence. Just as Zhao Shuo's expression changed, he suddenly heard the Zhang family's patriarch speak. Then, under Zhao Shuo's ugly expression, Jiangzi walked down the stage with great difficulty. Xiao Yan also looked at Yin Kang in surprise. This guy's strength was actually so terrifying. He had forced his opponent to step down. When he thought of this, Xiao Yan suddenly smiled and looked at Zhao Shuo, who was standing not far away from him. Since he was his opponent, he couldn't be at a disadvantage. Yin Kang's opponent had taken the initiative to step down from the stage. If his opponent didn't admit defeat, it seemed like he had lost this match. Sensing Xiao Yan staring at him with a playful look, Zhao Shuo's heart suddenly trembled. Then, he looked at Xiao Yan with a flushed face, and his eyes seemed like they were about to shoot out flames. Swoosh! The silver tiger stick in his hand sliced through the air. Zhao Shuo stood up with a gloomy face. His eyes were staring at Xiao Yan. He wished he could break Xiao Yan's waist. That kind of look made Zhao Shuo's face burn. He had never seen such an insult before. Seeing Zhao Shuo staring at him with an unfriendly expression, Xiao Yan chuckled. However, he didn't dare to be careless. This guy's strength was quite terrifying. If he wasn't careful, he might be injured. The monarch flame in his body slowly condensed as the surging origin monarch chi flowed. It gathered into a palm-sized fire lotus in his hand. As the fire lotus rotated, it spread out like water and covered both of his hands. Bang! Zhao Shuo was furious from embarrassment. The Xiao Yans in his body were not stingy at all. They surged out wildly, causing a bright light to shine from his entire body. Every pore on his body was emitting a bright light. He was like a god, holding a silver tiger rod in his hand as he rushed towards Xiao Yan. The wind howled, as if it was going to shatter the heaven and earth. Zhao family's secret skill, golden body? This kid has actually succeeded in cultivating it? Zhao Qingshan was shocked when he saw Zhao Shuo's sudden attack. He couldn't help but laugh out loud. The golden body was one of the most powerful techniques in the Zhao family's secret skill. It was almost comparable to the monarch arts, and it had the power to shatter mountains and shatter rocks. With this attack, Xiao Yan would be severely injured even if he didn't die. While Zhao Shuo's body was glowing brightly, Yin Kang also came back to his senses. He looked at the former in shock. This domineering aura actually made his heart tremble. Xiao Yan, who was the first to bear the brunt of the attack, had a stern expression on his face. With a thought, he shouted out softly. The monarch flame's secret skill was unleashed. The crimson gold flame that covered his body trembled slightly and exploded, completely wrapping around Xiao Yan like a fireman. The blue flame ruler in his hand was fluttering in the wind. Xiao Yan took a deep breath. The moment Zhao Shuo's silver tiger stick struck, Xiao Yan suddenly slashed horizontally. The wide ruler firmly blocked the whistling silver tiger stick. The impact caused Xiao Yan's arm to tremble. Immediately after, the monarch flame moved, and the hidden force dissipated. When Zhao Shuo saw that the silver tiger stick was blocked by Xiao Yan's blue flame ruler, his facial expression didn't change. His entire body seemed to be glowing, and he was full of energy. He changed his hand to holding the stick with one hand and clenched his fist with the other. It was like a meteor falling from the sky, and in an instant, it shone with a bright light, causing the surrounding space to buzz. Xiao Yan's brows furrowed coldly. The origin monarch chi in his body surged out, and he also gripped the ruler with one hand. Flames were rolling on his fist, and the golden red light was no weaker than Zhao Shuo's. It was as if the stars in the sky had lit up the ages, and it rushed towards Zhao Shuo's fist. Buzz. When the two collided, a huge energy wave swept out like a wave, instantly turning everything in the surroundings into dust. Some of the participants couldn't dodge in time and were hit by the energy wave. They were immediately sent flying away as if they had suffered a heavy blow. Their expressions were ugly as they fell to the ground. Yin Cang's expression was grave. The gray robe on his body had been pierced by the great Yin spirit arts earlier. It was just like a broken cloth that hung on his body. He waved his right hand and wiped away the dust that was approaching him. Yin Cang's eyes stared intently at the dust. His expression was grave. With his strength, he was naturally able to tell that Xiao Yan and Zhao Shuo were currently in a stalemate. This fellow is definitely not simple. On the viewing platform, Yin Juxuan's expression was similarly dark and cold. He looked at Xiao Yan and Zhao family's golden Dharma body in the dust. He had heard about it before, and it was no less powerful than some of the profound Yin sects in the great Yin spirit arts of the profound Yin sect. Although Zhao Shuo was only a peak of monarch spirit warrior, he had used all of his strength to unleash the golden body. The golden body was actually blocked by the young man Jade Fairy mentioned, and the latter. He was only a 5th Dao monarch spirit warrior. The strength of a 5th Dao monarch spirit was not as high as the other contestants on the stage. But this fellow actually won so easily. Gotcha! Zhao Qingshan broke the iron bars beside him. At this moment, his face had turned completely green. In the dust, Xiao Yan was standing as steady as Mount Tai, facing Zhao Shuo's most powerful secret arts. This damn kid, we can't let him live. Zhao Qingshan's face turned gloomy. He began to regret not killing this young man in Forest Domain a few years ago. Now, the latter had actually reached such a stage. If it were a few more years, he would be frightened. Hong! The dust dispersed, and a figure flew out. The handsome man's face was extremely pale. Blood was flowing out of his fist and he was coughing up blood. He couldn't even hold the silver tiger stick in his hand tightly and it fell onto the stage, creating an inch-deep crater. Zhao Qingshan's eyes were on the verge of splitting apart. His body flashed and he arrived below the stage. He helped the unconscious Zhao Shuo up and hurriedly stuffed the medicine pill into the latter's mouth. When he saw that Zhao Shuo's entire body was covered in wounds and his palm and back almost exploded, Zhao Qingshan stared at Xiao Yan like a tiger and wolf. He wished that he could devour Xiao Yan. His injuries were caused by himself. He didn't fully master the secret arts yet, but he used it recklessly. As a result, before the power of the secret arts reached its peak, it injured his own body first. Xiao Yan's face was also slightly pale. The flames on his hands dispersed, and the blood scar that had condensed into a cocoon quietly fell down. He glanced at the unconscious Zhao Shuo and coldly said. Zhao Qingshan gritted his teeth. There was no way he could vent the anger in his heart. He could only glare at Xiao Yan, carry Zhao Shuo on his back, and leave. Yin Cang stood straight, staring at Xiao Yan with a gloomy gaze. A moment later, a trace of a smile emerged on his face. This was the interesting part. After that, his cold eyes swept across the stage, except for himself and Xiao Yan. Yin Cang frowned and said coldly, I won't hold back in the upcoming battle. Whether I live or die, I will leave it to the heavens. The other four's facial expression changed when they heard this. They looked at each other, then smiled bitterly. They looked at Yin Cang and Xiao Yan with a complicated expression. They had no choice but to take the initiative to step forward. Their strength was weaker than Jiangzi and Zhao Shuo. Staying on the stage was just a joke. Who said that this is a great battle between the geniuses of star-severing mountain range? It's a battle between two monstrous geniuses. Seeing that only Xiao Yan and Yin Cang were left on the battlefield, everyone had a strange expression on their faces. All of them heaved a sigh of relief. Although these people were all geniuses, the light from Yin Cang and the young man in black was too dazzling, completely covering their brilliance. After sighing with emotion, everyone couldn't wait to look at Yin Cang and Xiao Yan. The following battle would surely be incomparably intense. Yin Cang took off his tattered clothes and slowly clenched his fists. He looked at Xiao Yan, who was standing opposite of him, and sneered. Now that all those fishes have gone down, there are only the two of us left. What do you think? Xiao Yan's 10 fingers also slowly curled into fists. He exhaled a breath of air and his eyes suddenly became heated. Then let's have a good fight. Both of their bodies moved after their words sounded. After which, they rushed over like two flowing lights. Two boom! The two streaks of light crashed into each other, creating an ear-splitting explosion. After that, everyone saw Xiao Yan and Yin Cang exchanging blows. A shocking aura emerged on the surface of their bodies. Spiritual light flickered, and they swallowed and exhaled in all directions. When the light appeared, they looked like gods. Xiao Yan's eyes turned cold. Dense origin monarch chis were wrapped around his arms. The power contained in his fist suddenly increased, and it was powerful enough to shatter mountains and shatter rocks. Yin Cang sneered. A powerful force erupted from his naked upper body, and he easily blocked Xiao Yan's attack. Wah! With a kick that carried a strong wind, Xiao Yan's expression became serious. He moved his feet continuously, barely dodging Yin Cang's kick. Yin Cang's foot stomped down, directly shattering the ground that Xiao Yan was standing on, causing the ground to sink deeply. The moment Yin Cang attacked, Xiao Yan, who had dodged, also reacted immediately. He jumped lightly and his right leg swept out like an iron whip. It almost tore through the air and ruthlessly kicked towards Yin Cang's chest. Yin Cang's expression did not change. He retracted his hands at lightning speed, and his arms stood upright, blocking Xiao Yan's critical strike. At the same time, the huge impact caused the two of them to retreat. The ground where the two of them had been standing suddenly split open because they could not withstand the fierce momentum, and gravel flew everywhere. Although the first exchange between the two didn't have any substantial progress, everyone could see that Yin Cang was in a better condition compared to Xiao Yan. The former was still too weak after all, while Yin Cang was a genuine monarch. Yin Cang's eyes were cold and silent. In the collision just now, he shockingly discovered that Xiao Yan's strength was not inferior to his, and his combat experience was extremely profound. If it wasn't for his strength that far exceeded his, he was afraid that they would be evenly matched. Show me your true strength. If this isn't your limit, then this battle will be too boring. Yin Cang looked at Xiao Yan and said in a cold tone. Xiao Yan's chi was long. It was obvious that he had hidden his true strength. Xiao Yan calmed down the surging origin monarch chi in his body. His expression didn't change when he heard what Yin Cang said. He nodded his head. He really didn't dare to hide his true strength when fighting with this guy. Fire Wheel Dao, Path of Reincarnation Fire. Two secret techniques were used. In an instant, Xiao Yan's chi and blood were boiling. The monarch flame exploded, causing his blood to boil. Xiao Yan's expression was solemn. Flames were being emitted from all the pores on his body, causing the space where he was standing to buzz. The ring of fire strengthened the monarch flame. The monarch flame activated the heavenly monarch fire burning body. In an instant, Xiao Yan's aura skyrocketed. The powerful origin monarch chi surged wildly within his body, causing his skin to split apart inch by inch. As the origin monarch chi flowed, the damaged skin instantly healed. His entire body flashed with a scarlet golden light, giving him an unusual look. Emperor. Yin Cang's expression changed slightly. The ridicule in his eyes had already disappeared without a trace. Even he started to take Xiao Yan's sudden burst of strength seriously. What secret arts is this? How can it be so powerful? His strength has skyrocketed from the monarch spirit to the emperor realm. This young man's trump card is actually so powerful. A fierce battle between two tigers and a dragon. No matter how arrogant Yin Cang is, he's going to get serious this time. After Xiao Yan's strength had increased, countless shocked discussions were heard. When the ordinary audience noticed Xiao Yan's strength, their faces were filled with joy and they cheered loudly. Those experts above the emperor level immediately saw through the essence of Xiao Yan's sudden increase in strength. Immediately, their eyes moved slightly and some thoughts that were difficult to describe instantly surged into their hearts. Yin Juxuan stared intently at Xiao Yan. With his strength, he was able to clearly sense the changes on Xiao Yan's body. That hot aura caused even him to frown slightly. Some discomfort surfaced within his body. What kind of flame is this? How can it be so powerful? Yin Juxuan's eyes were filled with a cold light. He tightly pursed his lips, and the 5 fingers in his sleeves slowly tightened. Below, those young men who were still conscious after what had happened were also pale. Jiangzi powerlessly sat on the chair and clenched his fists tightly. Blood flowed out from his palms, but he did not notice it. When he thought of his previous title as a genius, Jiangzi smiled bitterly. and the light in his eyes quickly dimmed. He is indeed very strong. Yin Cang's tone was no longer indifferent. He stared at Xiao Yan. For some reason, the golden light radiating from Xiao Yan's body made him feel fear in his heart. Great Yin Spirit Arts Yin Technique. Yin Cang's eyes were cold. Without saying anything else, he suddenly crossed his fingers on his chest. Endless black qi gushed out from his 10 fingers. In an instant, a thick black qi armor covered his body. There was a black flowing light circulating on the armor. As the flowing light flowed, a feeling that caused one's heart to tremble involuntarily gushed into one's mind. It was a ferocious and terrifying feeling. Yin Cang slowly raised his head. His face was already covered with black striations. Black lines surged around his eyes, and his heart palpitated continuously. Xiao Yan was also slightly startled, then he smiled. Yin Cang's strength had also reached the peak of Monarch King. There was no difference between him and Yin Cang. This battle was really exciting. Yin Cang, you actually mastered the core secret technique of the great Yin Spirit Arts. Jade Fairy looked at Yin Cang, who was standing on the stage, and a trace of shock appeared in her beautiful eyes. After that, she pursed her red lips, and a layer of worry appeared on her pretty face. Initially, she thought that it would be pretty good if Yin Cang could roughly grasp this secret technique after half a year of cultivation. She never thought that this guy's talent was so amazing. Looking at his qi, she could tell that he was very talented. Now that he had completely mastered it, it would be somewhat difficult for him to do so. Congratulations, Sect Chief. Young Master is indeed talented. He has already mastered the second level of the great Yin Spirit Arts. Next to Yin Juxuan, a black-robed old man smiled and cupped his hands towards the former. His tone was filled with envy. Yin Juxuan finally laughed out loud when he heard this. The solemnness that he had displayed towards Xiao Yan had completely disappeared. Back then, he had only completely grasped the second level of the great Yin Spirit Arts after he had advanced to the Monarch Emperor. Currently, Yin Cang was merely an emperor. He was already not the slightest bit inferior to Yin Juxuan back then. No matter how deep Yin Juxuan's shrewdness was, he was still overjoyed by this result. When Yin Cang's secret technique was revealed, Jiangzi's expression became even gloomier. He opened his mouth but was left speechless. He let out a long sigh. Jiangzi also calmed down. He asked himself, with his own strength, Hong Long, since there was such a huge gap between them, there was no need to compare them anymore. When he thought of this, his state of mind became much calmer. Come. This time, Xiao Yan launched an attack first. He let out a long roar. His hair was messy, his eyes were like stars, and the flames around his body were roaring wildly. He was like a flaming meteor that ripped apart the space, rushing towards Yin Cang. His speed and qi were much stronger than the last time. Good! Yin Cang smiled hideously. Black qi rushed into the sky from all over his body. He clenched his fists and raised them above his head to meet the attack. His qi was monstrous, like a devil god. Xiao Yan stared at Yin Cang. The latter's speed had also increased tremendously. In just a split second, the two of them had already collided. The crimson gold flame collided with the endless black qi. A violent qi soared into the sky. The ground under their feet cracked inch by inch. Spiderweb-like cracks spread across the entire stage. Following the heaven-shaking roar of the flames, the entire stage trembled and the black qi scattered in all directions. Boom! Xiao Yan threw out a punch. Yin Cang's eyes were cold, and he blocked with his palm. The two of them collided, and a huge force exploded out. Before it could even get close to the two of them, it had already dissipated. Sky Spill Fist. Xiao Yan's expression became serious. Before he could withdraw his left fist, his right fist had already been swung out. It was as if it could pierce through clouds and shatter rocks, and it could even destroy heaven and earth. Yin Cang's expression was cold and stern, and he didn't panic at all. A dense airflow circulated in his eyes, and he took a strange step forward. With a mysterious arc, he dodged Xiao Yan's attack. At the same time, his palm shot out like lightning, and Yin Qi wrapped around his palm, aiming at Xiao Yan's chest. Kai! Flames erupted around Xiao Yan's body. The flames turned into a flaming palm and collided with Yin Cang's palm. As the palm collided with Yin Cang's palm, the space trembled. The two of them had exchanged dozens of blows in the blink of an eye. Each exchange was filled with danger. All of this was witnessed by the experts on the viewing platform. The two of them retreated, and the place where they'd fought was already damaged. The ground had shattered, and cracks suffused the air, causing it to seem as if a meteor had smashed into it. He stretched his wrist. Yin Cang grinned. He stared at Xiao Yan with a cold gaze and said in a deep voice, "Let's get ready for the fight to end. It's time to start." Xiao Yan moved his 10 fingers and narrowed his eyes. A moment later, he also grinned. Then come, "0" as Xiao Yan's voice faded, Yin Cang had already turned into a black ray of light and rushed over. Along the way, the sound of the air exploding could be heard without an end, shaking one's soul. Killing light explosion. A stern shout was heard from Yin Cang's mouth. In an instant, the chi within the black ray of light surged wildly. A scarlet-black light rushed out from the top of the dark green sky's head. The chi gathered and turned into a ray of light. Yin Cang reached out his hand and grabbed it, then he suddenly swung it towards Xiao Yan. Using chi to transform objects? Xiao Yan's expression became serious. The black light in Yin Cang's hand seemed to have turned into chi, but it was actually real. With his current strength, he could use any weapon that was casually formed by the Origin Monarch Chi. It had the power of a mid-tier spirit weapon at the very least. Swoosh! The crimson black light seemed to have cut through space and time. Before it even arrived, Xiao Yan felt a sharp pain on his skin, and his body seemed to be on the verge of collapsing. Xiao Yan's eyes instantly turned stern. All the crimson gold flames on his body surged and completely swallowed this murderous aura. As he clenched his hand, the blue flame ruler had already appeared in his hand. It swept across the surface of the ruler. It tore through the air and stood in front of Xiao Yan. Buzz! Yin Cang held the dark red light in his hand. He fiercely struck the blue flame ruler. As the two collided, the dark red light surged with black chi. It crazily devoured the blue flame rulers lingering on the blue flame ruler, and a scent of destruction quietly descended. Xiao Yan coldly snorted. With a shake of his wrist, the Xiao Yans on the blue flame ruler rumbled and shot out. It was as if the crimson gold flames of the ancient times had chosen to devour someone. In turn, they surrounded the endless black chi. With the might of the monarch flame, it instantly incinerated and scattered the surrounding black chi. Kai! When Yin Cang saw this, his expression changed slightly, and his arm trembled. The red and black light had already left his hand. He roared and rushed towards Xiao Yan. Yin Cang, on the other hand, took a strange step forward. His body flashed, and he easily dodged the flame that was rushing towards him. Xiao Yan frowned slightly. When he saw the crimson-black light rushing towards him, it was already too late for him to withdraw the blue flame ruler to block it. The battle just now had weakened the murderous aura of the crimson-black light, and it was no longer as fierce as before. With a casual thought, flames curled up on Xiao Yan's palm. He suddenly stretched out his hand and grabbed the dark red light in his hand. Xiao Yan's expression changed slightly the moment his hand touched it. Even with the protection of the monarch flame, a heart-piercing pain still came from his palm. Yin Cang revealed a strange smile when he saw Xiao Yan catching his attack with his bare hands. This killing light explosion was one of the trump cards of the great Yin spirit arts, and it was also the monarch skill that he had mastered during his half a year of seclusion. An ordinary emperor could easily kill him, let alone Xiao Yan. Sensing the sharp pain in his palm, Xiao Yan's mind woke up. He waved the blue flame ruler to counteract the endless black chi. On the palm of his hand that was holding the dark red light, pure origin monarch chis flowed out along the meridians of his arm, bringing the monarch flame to his palm, crazily devouring the power of the dark red light. Yin Cang shifted his gaze to Xiao Yan's blue flame ruler, his brows raised, and his face revealed a pondering expression. Yin Juxuan sat on the chair, watching the match between the two of them with great interest. With his emperor cultivation strength, he could clearly see what was going on between the two of them. When he saw Xiao Yan being entangled by Yin Cang's killing light, a smile slowly emerged on his face. He has actually cultivated the great Yin spirit arts to such an extent. Young master's talent really makes me feel ashamed. An elder of the profound Yin sect sighed with emotion. Yin Cang's performance was too stunning. He had already comprehended 2/3 of the great Yin spirit arts at such a young age. On the other hand, they had also comprehended half of the great Yin spirit arts in the past few hundred years. They were the new generation that had changed from generation to generation. They were the new generation that had come to an end. That's right, young master is an outstanding genius. I estimate that even the most famous Yunluo Academy in the Eastern Star region can only be counted on one's fingers if they can defeat young master at such a young age. In this generation of star-severing mountain range, the king who stands above all the geniuses is none other than Yin Cang. Yin Cang's means had also shocked everyone, and they were all praising him in low voices. Although the profound Yin sect was one of the top sects in the star-severing mountain range, in the entire star-severing mountain range, the profound Yin sect couldn't even be ranked in the top 3. Yin Cang's appearance was the hope of the entire profound Yin sect. While everyone was exclaiming in admiration, Xiao Yan had already refined the dark red light. His palm trembled. Xiao Yan took a deep breath and clenched the blue flame ruler tightly. His expression was solemn as he looked at Yin Cang, who was not far away from him. This was the first time he felt danger from a young man. This Yin Cang was terrifyingly strong. Seeing Xiao Yan refining the killing light in just a few moments, Yin Cang remained silent. His eyes were fixed on the weapon in Xiao Yan's hand. There was no trace of a crack on the weapon. Yin Cang was the clearest about the power of the killing light. With just a single strike, even a mid-grade spirit weapon would have cracks on its surface. This ruler was actually so powerful. High-grade spirit weapon? Cold intent surged in Yin Cang's eyes. Immediately, he let out a cold laugh. He extended his palm. Black chi surged and a black spear appeared in his hand. It was a high-tier spirit weapon, the heart-shattering spear. The long spear smashed onto the ground. The ground immediately cracked. A thread of black origin monarch chi followed the palm of the long spear and entered it. A dark red color slowly surged onto the tip of the black spear. Xiao Yan narrowed his eyes. He looked at the black spear in Yin Cang's hand. A cold glint flashed across his eyes. In the next moment, he had already grabbed the blue flame ruler and rushed towards the latter. The crimson gold flame on the ruler's surface curled. The tip of the ruler rubbed against the ground and a gully appeared wherever it passed. All the crushed rocks were incinerated. Yin Cang also took a step forward. The long spear in his hand danced. It seemed to be able to pierce through the world. The dark red tip of the spear surged and faced the blue flame ruler with a crushing force. Xiao Yan's expression was solemn. He held the blue flame ruler tightly in his hand. 3,000 lightning monarch flames flashed in his hand. At the same time, the crimson gold flame on the ruler's surface quietly dispersed, and only the silver lightning arcs jumped. Blood transformation kill. Yin Cang laughed coldly. He tightly gripped the heart destruction spear with both hands. The dark red tip of the spear suddenly rushed out like a blood snake. It passed through the space and arrived in front of Xiao Yan in an instant. Thunder Dragon Prison Domain. The moment Yin Cang used the spirit weapon monarch skill, Xiao Yan also let out an angry shout. The spiritual energy on the blue flame ruler surged and the thunder was furious. In the next moment, countless lightning pillars as thick as thighs rushed out from the ruler and surrounded Yin Cang. Their power covered the sky and the earth. The dark red color was like a spiritual snake. When it approached Xiao Yan's face, it suddenly split open, and countless blood mists covered Xiao Yan's face as well. On the other side, Yin Cang was caught off guard. He was also firmly trapped by the Thunder Dragon prison domain. For the first time, Yin Cang's face turned ashen. Swoosh! A scarlet flame appeared out of nowhere. The blood mist that enveloped Xiao Yan's body seemed to have met with boiling snow and quickly disappeared. In a moment, it had already disappeared from the world. Although the blood mist was quickly forced back, the power of the blood transformation kill could not be underestimated. In just a short period of contact, Xiao Yan's clothes had already been corroded. A dark red injury was clearly imprinted on his shoulder, emitting red smoke. You can admit defeat. A tiny bit of the blood transformation kill blood mist is enough to kill you. Look at your injuries. In less than 5 minutes, your entire body will be corroded. Standing in the Thunder Dragon prison domain, Yin Cang glanced at Xiao Yan's shoulder and said faintly. Xiao Yan looked at his shoulder. At this moment, it was emitting intense pain. Although it hadn't spread to his entire body yet, just like what Yin Cang had said, it would spread to his entire body in 5 minutes. Xiao Yan slightly lowered his head and then looked up. He calmly shook his head and slowly raised the blue flame ruler in his hand. He pointed at Yin Cang and said, "Sorry, I hope you will admit defeat." Quote, 1. You want me to admit defeat? Yin Cang sneered upon hearing this. He clenched both of his fists tightly, and the black striations on his chest sparkled with a spiritual light. Cold intent surged in his eyes, and his black hair was in a mess. The ferocious smile on his face gradually widened, making him look like a demon god that had walked out from the depths of hell. Trying to trap me with this? Naive! Yin Cang furiously shouted. The black striations on his upper body shone brightly, and numerous sharp spikes emerged from his body, just like how he used to deal with Jiangzi. Xiao Yan looked at him coldly. He was not particularly worried about the injury on his shoulder. He had the Xiao in his body. Although it didn't seem reliable, the memory inherited from his bloodline was profound and profound. The instant the blood transformation blood mist corroded his shoulder, the Xiao had already reached his shoulder. It circulated the Chaos Great Monarch flame to completely wrap around his injured bones and cells, preventing the blood qi from spreading. With the Xiao controlling the Chaos Great Monarch flame, this spirit weapon, which was only a high-grade spirit weapon, was nothing to him. Through a mental message, he told Xiao Yan to let go of the blood mist and let him control the blood mist that had entered his body. Perhaps, he would even give Yin Cang a big surprise at that time. When Yin Cang used the secret arts, Xiao Yan remained unmoved. He gently clenched his palm, and several lightning arcs instantly appeared within the Thunder Dragon prison domain. Then he crazily attacked Yin Cang. HMPH. Yin Cang's face turned gloomy. He stretched out his palm, and a black qi coiled around it. It slashed out horizontally, splitting apart a lightning bolt. An endless amount of black qi surged forth, instantly devouring Yin Cang. With Yin Cang's strength, it was naturally difficult for him to control this Thunder Dragon prison domain. However, it could at least delay it for a while. This period of time was enough to determine the outcome of the battle. Teng. Yin Juxuan stood up with an ashen expression. A cold glint appeared in his eyes. After which, he took a deep breath and slowly sat down. He did not expect that Yin Cang would be trapped. Moreover, the heart-destroying spear was a high-grade spirit weapon. The spirit weapon's monarch skill was actually removed by Xiao Yan's flames. Thinking of this, Yin Juxuan's eyes became sharper. He looked at Jade Fairy in the distance with a vicious gaze. What was the background of this guy that she had recommended? Jade Fairy seemed to have sensed Yin Juxuan's gaze. She turned her head and smiled at the former. Her charming appearance immediately attracted the attention of many people around her. Jade Fairy was also surprised. She had already seen that the blue flame ruler in Xiao Yan's hand was a heavenly weapon. However, she didn't expect that the heavenly weapon monarch skill would be a heavenly weapon. It was this kind of binding monarch skill. However, judging from the current situation, this heavenly weapon monarch skill was quite effective. The great yin spirit arts that Yin Cang practiced. It was the yin scroll of the saint-level skill, yin and yang scroll. Part of it was soft, and strong. The two combined and complemented each other. There was no weakness just now, but a single cultivation technique was like the great yin spirit arts. It was not strong enough to deal with the fire of thunder and fire with strong attributes. Within the Thunder Dragon prison domain, Yin Cang's expression was ugly. The flames on his body soared. With a wave of his fist, numerous lightning arcs were extinguished. However, even more lightning arcs emerged. If he wanted to break it, he could only attack the prison region itself. However, the dense lightning arcs caused him to be unable to split his body. Xiao Yan stood outside and slowed down his attack. He fully focused on coordinating with the Xiao to remove the injury on his shoulder. The Chaos Great Monarch flame wrapped around the wound on his shoulder, and in an instant, a soul-stirring sizzling sound could be heard. It was as if the Chaos Great Monarch flame was roasted meat, and he had a photographic eyesight. Below the stage, everyone looked at the two of them in shock. The intense battle had unexpectedly come to a rare stop. Although Yin Cang didn't suffer any injuries in the Thunder Dragon prison domain, he was still injured. Xiao Yan, on the other hand, was focusing all his attention on getting rid of the injuries on his body. The scene had unexpectedly calmed down. Only the sound of lightning exploding could be heard. It ripped apart the space, causing it to rumble and crack. Damn it! Yin Cang threw out a punch, shattering a lightning bolt that was approaching his chest. His expression was extremely ugly. Although this lightning bolt did little damage to him, he did not know why, but when it struck his body, it was extremely uncomfortable. The circulation of the origin monarch chi within his body seemed to be extremely obscure and solemn. Boom! Fury surged into the sky within Yin Cang's eyes. The flames on his body suddenly solidified. The black striations on his chest began to glow. Meanwhile, his face was swiftly covered with ferocious striations. The forbidden technique of the great Yin spirit arts? How did this brat learn it? Seeing Yin Cang's action, Yin Zhuxuan's facial expression changed dramatically. There was a powerful forbidden technique recorded in the great Yin spirit arts, but for some reason, it wasn't complete. There was a senior from the profound Yin sect who had practiced it before, and the result was that the origin monarch chi in his body couldn't circulate smoothly and exploded, causing him to die. From now on, the forbidden technique of the great Yin spirit arts was listed as a skill that Yin Zhuxuan couldn't learn. Anyone who violated it would be severely punished. He didn't expect that his son would learn it secretly first. Just as Yin Zhuxuan was about to stand up, an old man from the profound Yin sect pulled Yin Zhuxuan back with a solemn expression. Looking at Yin Cang's performance, he spoke slowly. "Sect chief, don't worry. Young master's current condition is different from senior disciple Yin Gu's. It seems like he can control the violent airflow in his body." Old Su of profound Yin sect's voice was calm, causing Yin Zhuxuan's worries to dissipate. The Yin bone mentioned by the former was the genius of profound Yin sect. Before breaking through to the emperor cultivation, he had practiced a forbidden technique. As a result, a violent chi emerged in his heart, and when he broke through to the emperor cultivation, his violent chi erupted, causing his body to explode. Yin Zhuxuan stared at Yin Cang for a long time before he let out a sigh. It was true that he didn't sense the violent chi in Yin Cang's body, but he wasn't sure if Yin Cang was safe or not. The rules he had set had been broken by his son. Not good, it's the forbidden technique of great Yin spirit arts. Sensing Yin Cang's movement, a trace of shock emerged in Jade Fairy's beautiful eyes. After that, a trace of worry emerged on her pretty face. After that, she glared at Yin Zhuxuan, who was standing far away from her. This Yin Cang is really not simple. He has actually mastered that forbidden technique. Her beautiful eyes were filled with a cold light. Jade Fairy's pink face was filled with killing intent. On her forehead, a faintly discernible jade light could be seen. She looked extremely pure and holy. The 2 volumes of the Yin and Yang scroll recorded a peerless forbidden technique that could shake the heavens and shake the earth. The great Yin spirit arts originated from the Yin scroll, so there was naturally a portion of the forbidden technique that was left behind. If one were to cultivate this portion of the forbidden technique recklessly, there would be a violent aura within one's body. As for Yin Cang, with his incredible talent, Hong Long. Yin Cang had finally understood the missing part of this forbidden art, and mastered the most powerful secret arts of the great Yin spirit arts. Yin transformation. Yin transformation. At this moment, Yin Cang had a ghastly expression. Mysterious patterns appeared on his body from top to bottom. It was an extremely strange sight. His originally thick black hair had also turned gray and white. It was hanging loosely on his shoulders. His eyes no longer had the calmness they had before. Instead, they were filled with a cold killing intent. Hong! A punch was thrown out. Yin Cang's facial expression was cold. His punch was like a gust of wind, as if it had shattered thousands of worlds, shattering the Thunder Dragon prison domain. Lightning filled the sky, and countless buzzing sounds could be heard. This time, I will definitely lose. Jade Fairy sighed. Her face was filled with disappointment, and then she forced a smile. She had seen how hard Xiao Yan was working. Xiao Yan's opponent was too powerful. The Yin and Yang scroll was an ancient and world-shaking saint-grade cultivation technique. Even if it was a branch of the technique, the power of the forbidden technique contained within it was far greater than the ordinary monarch arts. This should be what I comprehended after half a year of seclusion. When Yin Cang opened the Thunder Dragon prison domain, Xiao Yan had already stood up. When he saw Yin Cang's sudden increase in strength, Xiao Yan frowned. Then, with a flick of his finger, he put away the blue flame ruler. This guy was terrifyingly strong. If Yin Cang wanted to defeat him, just the 8-directional thunder ruler of the monarch spell alone was not enough. When Yin Cang walked out indifferently, he immediately saw Xiao Yan standing a short distance away. There was a cluster of flame on both of Xiao Yan's hands. At this moment, the 2 clusters of flame were slowly merging together under the latter's control. In an instant, the wind whistled and sand filled the sky. An exquisite scarlet golden fire lotus slowly rose in Xiao Yan's palm. It displayed an extremely beautiful dance in the wild wind.